What's up, guys? My name is Crescent, and if my guess is right, you're here because you're having trouble with your Amazon account verification, or you're about to register for a new seller account and you're worried about getting rejected. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you the best practices on how you can register so you can get your account verified quickly, avoid delays, and not get rejected by Amazon. So as most of us know, the popularity of Amazon has grown by leaps and bounds over the past few years. And along with its growing popularity, Amazon has increased its scrutiny during the seller account verification process in order to better protect the buyers from bad sellers, unethical sellers that are selling poor quality or counterfeit products, or other illicit activities that can harm Amazon's community. So as a new seller planning to join Amazon's marketplace, you have to jump through a few more hoops nowadays. One thing I want to point out though, I've gotten the impression recently that a lot of people are afraid of this sign up process, that if they screw up, they're going to get in trouble or something. The sign up process is actually really simple. It's not the SATs or the bar exam. If you mess up, you're not going to get in trouble. The feds aren't going to come to your door and arrest you. In the worst case scenario, you'll get an email saying that you're not approved for whatever reason, and you can simply try again. So with that said, let's go over what Amazon requires from you, and then we'll go over what the most common mistakes are that trigger your account to not get approved or delay the verification process. All right, so when you go through the registration process, it basically consists of two parts. You'll need to answer a series of basic questions about you or your business, and second, you'll be asked to provide two forms of documentation to prove who you say you are. So what I highly suggest you do is have all of this information and documentation prepared ahead of time before you register. And the information you're going to need to gather are, if you're going to sign up using a business, you'll need your business information, such as the legal business name, business address, contact information, and federal tax ID number. If you're going to sign up as an individual, meaning you don't have a registered business, then you'll need your personal details like your full name, address, and social security number. Now, regardless if you're signing up as a business or not, you're going to need a valid email address, a credit card, not a debit card. That means the card can be charged as a credit card. These usually have the Visa or MasterCard logo on them. If you're not sure, you can ask your bank. You also have to provide a valid phone number. Amazon may reach out to you by phone during the registration process, and Amazon uses your phone to verify your account, such as sending you a code to your phone when you log into Seller Central to verify that it's you. In addition to all that, you also need to provide two documents to verify your identity. You'll need a government issued ID card. This can be a passport, driver's license, or national ID card. And second, you'll need to have a credit card statement, bank statement, or utility bill that's in your name. If you're registering a business, you also need the business license. Okay, so as you can see, if you don't have all of this information ready when you sign up on Amazon, you won't be able to complete the registration process and your account will be stuck in limbo. So let's go over what Amazon's requirements are for the information you provide and what the best practices are so it doesn't get rejected or delayed. But before we get to that, I want to be abundantly clear. You need to be 100% truthful and accurate with the information that you provide. Do not manipulate the information, Photoshop any of the documents, or provide false information. You will not get approved and you'll just get blocked from selling on Amazon altogether. I've seen this happen way too many times where people try to get around the verification process by giving fake information. Don't do it. But what you can do is smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. It'll get this video out to more people just like you, and it would really help me out, and I'd appreciate it. One of the most common reasons for not getting approved to sell on Amazon is people creating more than one seller account. Whether it's by accident or intentional, do not create more than one seller account. That means if you've registered to sell on Amazon in the past already, use that same account and email address. Do not register again. If you tried to register and the verification failed or you weren't approved, do not try using a different email address. You must use the same account you already created and get that problem resolved on that account. If you were suspended from selling on Amazon, creating a new seller account will not work. For whatever reason, if you create multiple accounts, Amazon will attach your new account with the old and suspend all of the accounts, and you'll just be creating a bigger problem for yourself. If you have an existing seller account that isn't approved, is suspended, or you just forgot the login information, you'll need to figure out a way to get access to that account and get it revived. Otherwise, you won't be able to sell on Amazon. And one thing to note, the Amazon account you use to buy stuff on Amazon isn't the same as a seller account. You're allowed to have both a buyer account and a seller account. Okay, so I hope I made that clear. And a pro tip, don't use your Amazon buyer account for the seller account. Keep them separate. Use a different email address for registering your seller account. All right, so what are the best practices for submitting the required documents? You can see here that Amazon lists the guidelines for what to do for your specific scenario. It says here that if you've already submitted your documents, it can take 2 business days to get verified. It can actually take a lot longer, so be patient. If you've done everything correctly, you can have your account approved within 2 to 4 days. You'll know you were approved when you get an email from Amazon and you have access to Seller Central. Now, here's what you need to do to make sure your documents don't get rejected, and these are the most common reasons I see people having trouble with submitting their documents. First, all the documents need to be valid and not expired or revoked. For your photo ID, I suggest you scan it. Don't take a photo if you can help it. If you don't have a scanner or access to one, then make sure you take a clear color photo of your passport or driver's license. Make sure your fingers or the flash isn't blocking any of the information and that all the text is readable. You can see here it says to scan or take a photo and make sure the photo looks professional. Don't take it in the dark on a dirty table with last night's leftover pizza crumbs and napkins in the shot. You can see here that it says make sure it's in high quality, in color, unobstructed, and not at an angle, blurry, or cropped. And make sure you get the entire ID in the photo. If it's a card, you need to provide both sides of the ID. And if the registration page won't let you upload 2 separate images for the front and the back, you'll need to merge the front and back images into a single file to upload. You can do that with Photoshop, or there's online websites that can do that for you. And make sure the ID has your signature on it. Now, as for the additional documents, it's very important that you do not send screenshots. If it's a PDF from your bank or credit card company, download the PDF and submit the file. Otherwise, scan the paper copy or print it out and scan it. Or if you have to, take a photo like I mentioned earlier. Or if necessary, physically go down to your bank and have them print out a color copy for you. And make sure it's the entire document. If it's multiple pages, provide all the pages. They also must be within the last 180 days and show transaction activity. And the most important part, it's absolutely crucial that all the documents that you provide have matching information, meaning they all have the same name and address on them. If you're registering a business, it must have the business name and address on it. This is the same with the utility bill. You can use a water, electricity, gas, internet, or cell phone bill. If you don't have a utility bill in your name, you can see here the bill must have the same address that you're registering with and any supporting documents to prove that you're operating from that address. However, in my experience, this can cause delays and problems. What I suggest to do instead, have a bill put in your name for a month. This will avoid any potential issues with Amazon, then transfer the name back when you're done. I want to point out that I get people contacting me all the time saying that they don't have a bill in their name, they don't have a color copy of the bank statement, or they live with their parents, or whatever excuse. Well, Amazon has spelled out very clearly what they require, as you've seen, and if you don't meet these requirements, find a way. There's always a way. Otherwise, you won't be able to sell on Amazon. It's really that simple. Running your business is full of adversities, almost on a daily basis at times, and if you can't figure out ways around them, perhaps starting a business isn't for you. Now, a few things I want to note. The required documents may differ depending on what country you live in, so make sure you're aware of that. During the registration process, it'll tell you what those documents are that you can use. And it should be pretty obvious, but don't submit documents that aren't on that list. Amazon will not accept it. You also need to live in one of the approved countries on this list in order to sell on Amazon. If you don't live in one of these countries, you won't be able to register to sell on Amazon. There are some ways around this though, but it's beyond the scope of this video, such as registering a business in one of the approved countries. You also need to have a bank from one of the approved countries on this list. This is so Amazon is able to pay you your disbursements. Now, if you don't have access to a bank in a country on this list, You can use an online banking service such as Payoneer.com. They'll provide you with a bank account and credit card that you can use and register your Amazon seller account with. So if you need to do any of these things, make sure you take care of them ahead of time before you attempt to register your seller account so that you have all of the required information on hand. For example, if you're registering a new business, make sure you do that ahead of time so that you have the business license in hand and your business bank accounts are all set up. If you need to set up online banking or you need to change the name on a utility bill, make sure that's all done ahead of time and ready to go. Now, once you go through the registration process and submit all of the documents, you can get approval within 3 to 4 days if everything goes smoothly. However, don't be surprised if it takes a couple of weeks. Amazon has recently started doing a few things differently that can speed up the approval process or slow it down. You might get asked to do a video verification where an Amazon rep will video chat with you to verify your identity. Amazon has also started sending out mail verification cards that have a code on it. You'll need to wait for that card to arrive in the mail and then enter that code to verify your mailing address. Of course, if this is a requirement for you when you register, it can take several weeks to get that card. So definitely practice some patience. Now, like I mentioned earlier, once your account is approved, you'll get an email from Amazon and you'll have access to Seller Central. If you're not approved, you'll get an email and it'll tell you what the issue is, such as you submitted the wrong documents or they're invalid somehow. In that case, fix the problem and resubmit the documents and wait for a response. And finally, a couple of pro tips. You don't need to have a registered business to sell on Amazon. You can start selling just using your personal information and social security number. This is called selling as an individual versus selling as a business entity. And this is where it can be a little bit confusing. Selling as an individual is not the same thing as the individual or professional monthly plan. I know that's confusing, but the individual monthly plan is the free Amazon seller plan, whereas the professional is the $39.99 monthly plan. These have nothing to do with the type of entity you're selling under, a business or as yourself, an individual. Now, you can also change your entity type anytime you want. So if you register as an individual and later on you want to sell under a registered business, you can. Just update your business entity in Seller Central. So for example, if you don't know if you want to register as a business yet, or you're in the process of registering it, then you can just sign up on Amazon as an individual using your personal information. Use your own name, your own address, and social security number. Then when you decide to change later, just change the business entity over to your business details in Seller Central under the Settings, Account Info, and Legal Entity option. All right, I hope you found that useful. So if you want to get in touch with me, you can find all of my contact details in the video description below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so leave a comment or question in the comment section below. I answer every single one. And as always, if you found value in this video, consider subscribing. And do me a favor, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It really does help me out, and I'd appreciate it. And make sure you ring that bell so you never miss a future video. All right, thanks for watching.